A low home appraisal? What first time buyers should do next? Most buyers think once the offer is accepted, the hard part is over. What actually matters is whether the bank's appraiser agrees with the price. If the appraisal comes in low, you may need to bring extra cash to closing, renegotiate, dispute the value, or walk away. You need to learn what to do when a home appraisal comes in low and how the appraisal gaps work, when to renegotiate, and how to protect your down payment from expensive mistakes. A low appraisal can change your loan approval and force extra cash at closing, as I've been saying, or you can open the door to renegotiation. First time buyers need a clear plan before emotions take over. So let's start at the beginning and know three things fast. A low appraisal creates something called an appraisal gap. The bank lends based on the lower of the price or the appraised value. And your contract that your real estate agent draws up determines whether you're protected. So let's take a real story. I worked with a buyer who offered full price on a condo because the market felt competitive. And the appraisal came back $18,000 below the contract price. Suddenly, the excitement of "we got the house" turned into a stressful decision. Were they going to bring 18,000 more to closing? It has to be cash. Were they going to renegotiate with the seller? Were they going to challenge the appraisal, or were they going to walk away? And this is where Homebuyers Remorse can begin if you do not already know your core home buying principles. What it really means is that a licensed appraiser hired by the lender determined the home's market value was below the agreed purchase price. For first time buyers, this matters because the lender usually bases the loan amount on the appraised value, not what you offered. So let's sort out some pros and cons and give you some scenarios if your appraisal comes in low. If you cover the gap between what the house appraises for and what the purchase price is, you one, keep the house. Second, you proceed to closing per your contract. Your offer is stronger if there's a bidding war. However, more cash leaves your emergency fund. If you use the strategy that you want to renegotiate between the low appraisal and the purchase price, you, one, protect your down payment. Two, it aligns the price to the market. It could save you thousands. However, the seller may refuse. Always remember this: the buyer always controls market price, and the seller controls the inventory. Then your other option is if you walk away. One, it prevents you from overpaying. So you need to consider, how much is this really costing you? Yes, of course, it will be higher with respect to the purchase price, but how much is your rent? Do you have to sign another year lease? What is at stake for you? There are more ways to look at this than just the price of the house. We're talking about the price of housing for you. And then there's the emotional disappointment. However, it does allow you to reassess your home buying goals, and maybe you are trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Only you will know that when you implement our home sanctuary method in the first time homebuyer workshop. Here's what trips up a lot of buyers. You need to decide this before house hunting, before you ever pick up that phone, before you ever text the real estate agent to say you want to see the house. You need to know what your home buying principles are. Will you cover that appraisal gap? Where will the money come from? You need to stay disciplined around your affordability ceiling and not let emotions redefine home value. Many buyers never define this belief, and you need to ask yourself, will I pay above market value to secure a house? So let's solve this expensive problem. The best solution is prevention, right? So ask your buyer agent for a CMA. Logical before making an offer. Include an appraisal contingency. Define your maximum appraisal gap of cash. Understand the reconsideration of value, or the ROV process. Know when to walk away or renegotiate the offer. Now let's talk about this reconsideration of value, ROV. This is triggered when you believe the appraiser missed stronger comparable sales. You must review and provide documentation. So the number one thing is you have to review the report for errors. You must submit better comps. You have to note the upgrades and the locations advantages and ask your lender for a formal ROV. It is essential to understand the success of an appraisal dispute largely depends on the strength of the evidence and the arguments you present to support your case. Providing clear and compelling information as to why you believe the appraisal is inaccurate or incomplete is key to the review process. When should you be doing this? Well, the process, as I just outlined, is when you're in the process of buying the home. And you may say, isn't that a bit late? My answer is, I would think so. It's late because you need to know the market, and whomever you hire needs to have a procedure in place to get you the information you need before you make the offer. This is a critical step when you hire your real estate agent. There are many questions you need to ask the potential agent on how they work, what they do, how they will meet your expectations. You have never bought a house, so it's a good idea to have your interview questions for your agent set. But this also links very closely as to how you want this process to be handled. What are your core home buying principles? In some cases, real estate agents may also be licensed real estate appraisers, but it's not very common. By definition, a real estate agent is a professional who facilitates buying and selling or renting properties on behalf of their clients. They typically assist with tasks such as marketing, negotiating, and guiding clients through the transaction process. At the end of the day, they are getting you to the closing table. They are a salesperson. That is their focus. A real estate appraiser, on the other hand, specializes in estimating the value of properties. They conduct a thorough analysis of properties to determine market value, considering factors such as location, conditions, size, comparable sales in the area. Appraisers provide unbiased opinions of value that are used for various purposes, including mortgage lending, property taxation, and real estate transactions. The appraisers don't get paid a whole lot in preparing the report. It's surgical. And the experience, meaning the recognizing the cost of the feature equaling of a value, well, that is a gray area. It's a judgment call. And if real estate agents are not appraisers, how can they accurately do a comparative market analysis since they don't know the components of value for residential properties? They haven't been trained like appraisers. In short, they do get trained, but it's a ballpark because even though they may prepare a CMA for the seller has the influence on the price. If the seller wants a different price for their home, or they want to implement a specific selling strategy, the list price may not be grounded in the CMA. And you just don't know that as the buyer. The First Time Home Buyer Workshop helps you solve these gray area decisions that happen in real time during negotiations. In our paid workshop, you will learn how to make offers without panic, what terms protect your cash, how to interview buyer agents, when to negotiate versus walk away, and how to avoid appraisal gap remorse. The bottom line is that you need a strategy if your appraisal comes in low. That's our 15 minutes of home buying knowledge for today. Just another acorn in your home buying jar. All of these videos and content pieces are free and they are not part of our First Time Home Buyer Workshop, where you will be empowered and leave Homebuyers Remorse in the dust. From the team at the First Time Home Buyer Workshop with Julie Marion, bye for now.